So I've been a farm consultant in Esperance for since 2015, and prior to that I was working in the Department of Agriculture, basically managing research. My client base is throughout the Esperance Port Zone, and a lot of them have sodic soils, and most of the clients I work with are using gypsum. So there's a lot of people through, well, it's probably more than half the total Esperance farmers that are using gypsum on their farm. So our clay soils are challenging. They're hard setting, they don't hold water, they're difficult to manage, and they've traditionally been very hard to seed. And we have used gypsum to alleviate the seeding part of that. We started off using gypsum as a one-off, and quite a lot of people still have. They're the less profitable farmers now in the Mallee. The most profitable ones are the ones that have continued to use it. And it's been more beneficial working down through the profile, where originally we just put it on to change the seeding ability and the hard setting nature of the soil. We've added more, and farmers are up to even 12 tonnes, and it's probably working down at quite a depth, improving the structure and the water holding capacity of the soil. So I've heard of other clients that have put on 8 tonnes up front at once, and I don't think that's probably the way to approach it. So there's all sorts of approaches, but the best one is as a part of the rotation. And more often than not, it's in front of canola, because there's a bit of a fertiliser benefit from the sulphur interaction that comes from the gypsum. So part of the rotation, 2 tonnes every, say, 3 years is a common practice, and that's the one I'm encouraging. The cost of gypsum, quite often people think it's high. It's actually low compared to other inputs, but it's about $15 to $17 a tonne, and more often than not about the same amount to freight it to the farm. And then $10 a tonne to apply, but it's a permanent benefit as opposed to fertiliser, which you use up and it's gone. Gypsum will permanently improve your farms. Gypsum quality is pretty reliable here now. We've got a few mines, and the quality is tended to be judged by the granularity or the fineness of the product. I think it's really important to test and have a look at a test just to make sure you're getting what you're buying, because you're buying a tonne of something, and you want to be buying the calcium sulphate. Most farmers are applying gypsum blanket. They're putting 2 tonnes and using it as part of the rotation. We're starting to get into variable rate application now, and it's easy using some of the technologies to identify the soils which are being more responsive, but that's a minority at the moment. That's kind of a transition that's occurring, which is allowing us to target the investment better sooner. So the best growers are not only putting it on, but they're putting it on over a period of time, and yes, as cash flow dictates, but more or less as part of the rotation. And I guess the thing with gypsum is, as you add more of it, your cash flow is better. It's quite as direct as that. So you've got more cash to then invest in more gypsum, which then makes it a good cycle.